Welcome inside episode 544 of the Locked On Senators podcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller in the heart of our nation's capital in Ottawa, Ontario. And man, I can't believe there's only 3 regular season Sens games left.
Yeah, 3 regular season games left for the Ottawa Senators, Ross. But the Belleville Senators, they will continue on as they clinch their first ever franchise playoff berth. Let's go.
Not only that, for playoffs, we've got Tyler Boucher coming home after his best game of the 2 in North Bay. All that and a surprise face at practice for the Sens. All that and more. Today's episode is brought to you by Bet Online. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. Go see them today at betonline.net, where the game starts. And now the show starts. This is the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.
Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen on this Monday, April 25th. And Pilsy, that was one hell of a weekend.
I mean, that couldn't have worked out any better if we tried, Ross. It was a great show to the meet and greet at Stanley's at the Sensplex. The Senators gave us one hell of a game, and overall, it was an awesome weekend. We got to sell some of these shirts you see behind us. Oh, there we go. Got it figured out. And it was a blast meeting a lot of people that we know on Twitter, but hadn't been able to kind of put a tag to a face yet. So thanks everyone for coming out. It was an absolute blast. And I can tell you this was a success, and we're going to be doing multiple more of these meet and greets, group price tickets in sections. And I can't wait for what's to come, but there's still a lot of juicy stuff left in this season.
Yeah, there certainly is. We're going to get to all that a little bit later. I want to say thanks to everyone as well for coming out, supporting the pod, and shaking hands and having a good time, really. And it was 5-1, Pilsy, but the Senators did not blow it. Let's get into the game itself on Saturday. It all started with a little controversy. Classic. If Brendan Gallagher acts like it took him by surprise that he was getting booed in Ottawa after his comments, I mean, he's got to get in his head. That was great when they played that. Shout out Sens DJ when he took a penalty there. But if he didn't know that was coming, that's on him. So for him to skate away without giving Brady Tkachuk, I somewhat believe him that it was an honest mistake, but you have one job there. Shake everybody's hand. It's not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, Brendan Gallagher was probably sitting there being like, why am I being booed? I gave such a great advice to a young player about how to play the game better and all these kinds of things. So he probably just can't understand why he would be booed in this scenario. But hey, Brady didn't mess up on the handshake, so that's all I got to say there.
No, can you believe it? He's been stubbed twice in the last month because Dylan Larkin forgot to shake his hand as well.
Brutal.
Absolutely brutal.
Kids are watching.
It's absolutely embarrassing. It's also embarrassing when you have to go and give up 2 assists to Scott Sabrin. You'd see the Habs faithful was saying, oh, they're calling up a goon. They're trying to goon it up. Cole Caulfield, 1 point. Nick Suzuki, no points. Scott Sabrin, 2 apples in this one. And the funniest part, so Kastelic didn't know his first goal went in. He ends up dropping the gloves. Sends communications tweeting out the first player in NHL history to score his first career goal and fight on the same play. But it came in and out so fast that Sabrin thought he had to go, and he shot it right into Carey Price. So if that initial shot hadn't gone in, Sabrin would have butchered the goal. Anyways, it's neither here nor there because the goal counted, and that got Ottawa off to a hot start. And there's nothing more important. This is kind of sad to say, but Sens fans are very aware that when Montreal and Toronto are here, it's probably 60-40 in terms of Habs fans. So to get an early goal to take that energy out of the building is enormous. Now, Sens were outshot in the first period. Anton Forsberg came to play. We didn't do a postcast. Well, we did an unofficial one. Check out Twitter at Sens Central to see that. But we will get to a couple Sens Central standouts. But first, when were you ultimately feeling good about this one? Were you nervous at all when it became 5-3?
No, God, no, I wasn't nervous. The only time I got nervous, Ross, is when we missed 4 goals because we were trying to get beers, and the Sens just decided to have Was that, you were at the Chris Phillips game when they scored that flurry of goals in a quick amount of time? That was probably pretty close to that record, eh? It has to be close.
It has to, yeah. The Senators scored 3 goals in just over a minute against Montreal Canadiens, and we kept trying to run down the tunnel from the line and make sure that we could see the Sally and get into it. There were some good times there, but when we got to the front of the line, and I think it was the second Kastelic goal, I just booked it, not realizing we were next in line, and you can only buy 2 beers each. So I came back 1 short for Martian, so I got to apologize. But let's be honest, I don't think Martian
didn't need it.
He didn't need that one. Hell, neither did we probably. But we had a fantastic time. The vibes were immaculate, and it's good when someone who doesn't follow our Twitter account commented on the postcast saying, "I sat directly behind you, and I loved the energy." Great vibes. It was great vibes in 319, 320. It was awesome. Everyone could come out and get to see a win, man. You got to see a 5-1 loss in Montreal. So the fact they were up 5-1, that had to feel good too.
Oh, much better, Ross. Much better. And to be surrounded by Sens fans, like, that, it was just electric. Like 19,500 in attendance at the CTC. You mentioned it, a lot of Habs fans, but hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for filling the building, and have a nice drive home. Beat the traffic, maybe leave a little early, because you asked if I was nervous. Not for 1 second. I mean, Ross, Forsberg with a lead and 40 plus shots.
Money.
That's the game. That's it. It's over.
Is it a hot take? Best goal in the league?
Is it a hot take?
I don't know.
Guys out there playing street hockey.
Yeah, so after Kastelic made it 5-1, 2 goals for Casty. And by the way, we'll get to Belleville clinching the playoffs. Kastelic played 3 games in 3 nights. Not even 3 nights. They played yesterday afternoon. Not even 12 hours after he beats Montreal. He goes to Toronto and he scores a goal. He had a goal before coming to Ottawa too. So he scored 1 goal on Friday in Belleville, 2 goals in Ottawa on Saturday, and a goal in Toronto in the AHL on Sunday. Have a friggin' weekend. He's also the recipient of the bike helmet and glasses, rightfully so. Mixing a scrap in there as well. This guy is going to become a fan favorite in Ottawa, eh?
If he isn't already. I mean, we love Casty. We've had him on the show. He's an absolute beauty, and DJ Smith says it all the time. Strongest guy in the franchise. So when you've got that size, that strength, and those hands, like to be scoring goals like that, and he's not bad in the faceoff dot either. So I really can see a future for Mark Kastelic with this organization, and I'd be surprised if he spent more of his season next year in Belleville than Ottawa. I've already got him penciled in, maybe even pen, as that 4th line center next season for the Ottawa Senators.
And how about Austin Watson, a goal and an assist for him as well? He's got 10 points, 6 goals in his last 16 games.
Yeah, and while we're talking about Austin Watson, great video that the Senators posted, just kind of telling the story of him and his partner, their journey to sobriety, and how important it was for themselves, not only themselves, but their family as well. So if you hadn't had a chance to check that out, I would highly recommend it. It's worth the 5 minutes watching. Very emotional, and this is a guy who's been through hell and back, and he's figuring out his place on this team, and the boys are so proud of him. We're all happy that he's been able to turn things around, and it's translated to better play on the ice for him. So absolutely great story by Austin Watson. And man, this guy, he's putting the puck in the back of the net lately. Woo.
Well, how about the momentum goals in this game?
Not easy momentum goals.
Mark Kastelic, 2:33 into the game, and then Austin Watson, 44 seconds into the second period. Parker Kelly had 2 points in the first 6 minutes of the second. He was awesome. And what you're probably getting at from all this is it wasn't the Batherson, Stützles, Norris, Kachucks that won this game for Ottawa. They did combine on a really sick goal. The top line did. But it was the bottom 6 that elevated their play and just blew the Canadiens out of the building.
Yeah, and Scott, like you mentioned, Scott Sabrin, everybody's like, oh, he's coming up to fight. Yeah. If the Montreal Canadiens were tough enough to fight him. He said he was trying to find a partner all night, and he said, okay, no one wants to fight. I'll just get 2 apples and help the boys get a win here. So Scott Sabrin, way to go.
9 minutes, 2 assists, 2 hits, 3 block shots, and a takeaway. So there you go. Get in the mix, Scott Sabrin. Obviously, it's not a role that he's going to play super often, especially going forward, but hilarious nonetheless that line was able to produce for Ottawa. He was sent back down as well to help out with Belleville. We'll touch on the practice lines coming up. There was a great sight to see.
Yes.
But, oh my God, talk about not setting him up for success. But I'm not done reveling in this victory on Saturday. I'll start out our Sens Central standouts with Anton Forsberg, because you mentioned
Nice.
it, automatic when he gets more than 40 saves. 6-2-1 in his record in those situations this season. He was just nominated today as the Ottawa Senators nominee for the Bill Masterton Award, which goes to perseverance. And
Yep.
he persevered through that first period on Saturday night, Pills. He gives up one with 4 minutes left. You hate to see that by Shabbat, a little rustiness. And I mean, great to see Shabbat back in the lineup. Only played 20 minutes, but a very good emotional boost there. But that was a rusty play where he just kind of left it on the half wall.
Not great when you get beat in a puck battle by Mike Hoffman.
Yes. Hoffman made up for it with an assist on Alex Formanton's goal, though, to make it 6-3.
Yeah, Hoffman giveth and Hoffman taketh away.
Yes, but I thought it was a fantastic performance for Anton Forsberg. 8 for 8 when the Sens were shorthanded. They gave up a few offensive opportunities. Montreal goes 0 for 4 on the power play, and he stood tall. So Anton Forsberg, specifically for his work in the first period, is my Sens Central standout.
Love it. And if you're passing it off to me, I'm taking the low-hanging fruit, and I'm taking Mark Kastelic.
Nice.
That goal was such a weird one because it was at a strange angle, and I don't even know how it slipped through Carey Price there, and it was in and out so quickly. And yeah, him not even knowing, imagine not being aware you scored your first career NHL goal, and then you're just chucking knucks right after. He's one hell of a player, and then he got to revel in a goal celebration later on when Scott Sabrin gave him a nice feed, and he did a little backhand deke on Carey Price for a beauty goal. So overall, this is Mark Kastelic's week. This guy has been an absolute stud. So he's my Sens Central standout. Real easy pick for me.
Oh, 100%. If we're going around the horn twice, I mean, Parker Kelly's right there with him the whole way.
That shot, oh my God.
Unreal shot. How about leading the team with 5 hits on the night? 3 shots, 5 hits in this one. Took a couple penalties as well. I believe they were offsetting, if I'm not mistaken. No, they weren't. So maybe that's what's holding him back.
He's taken some penalties lately, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both in the third period in this game. Yeah, for sure. And he's playing that rambunctious style. So, yeah, absolutely love to see it. Love to see all the effort from tonight's Ottawa Senators. And I don't think there was necessarily a bad performance. Maybe they weren't the sharpest, some guys, and maybe the top guys, you could say that. But when you're winning, when your bottom 6 are the guys who are contributing, it almost makes it even better.
Yeah, and Ross, how about that performance from Nikita Zaitsev? I didn't see a single mistake, no ice. Oh, wait, he didn't play. Thank goodness. Finally, we got to see an Ottawa Senators game without Nikita Zaitsev in the lineup, and I'd like to see more of that.
Yes, and hopefully that happens next year. We just got some sobering news about what we were about to be excited for going into today's practice lines, but we'll get to that a little bit later. We also want to touch on the Belleville Senators, and the Buys will be at the game Tuesday night as well. So it'll be a little more tame, I would say, but we're really excited to get back out there. So if you want to come say hi, love to put a face to the name with everybody who's kind enough to listen to the show. And a part of listening to the show is helping support us and our sponsors. So Pilsy, I believe you have a word here from one of our favorites.
Yes, absolutely. And if you guys were at the meet and greet, I know you guys think I'm joking about my obsession with Built Bars, but I let you know that it's real. And I brought some Built Bars for the fans. And if you hadn't tried it, you got to try it then. And Built Bar is the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. And all it takes is one bite for you to realize that, because all these other protein bars, they're tough. They're focused on tasting healthy before tasting good. And Built Bar does it the other way around. They make it taste good, and then they find out how to make it healthy. And hey, if you like marshmallows, let me tell you about protein-infused marshmallows. Yes, that is a real thing, and it's in the Built Puffs. They're fluffy. They're marshmallowy, they're a treat, and they're covered in 100% chocolate. They got a lot of great flavors. They got cinnamon churro, coconut marshmallow, and more. So check those out if you haven't already. Low calorie, high protein. Throw those other protein bars and candy bars in the trash, guys, because they don't compare to Built Bar, let me tell you. And another thing, you probably don't get a sweet deal on those protein bars like you will at Built.com. If you use promo code LOCK15, you're going to get yourself 15% off your next order. How about that? One more time for the people in the back. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off at Built.com. It's Built Bar, the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar.
If you want to advertise with Locked On Senators, you can do that. Just shoot us a message on Twitter at Sen Central or on Instagram, lockedon.senators. You can also subscribe to the show on YouTube, and we're also free and available wherever you download your podcasts. As we mentioned, we appreciate you making us your first listen each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, and the show goes on even following the regular season. And that will be even easier for us now, Pilsy, because the show will go on for the Belleville Senators as well.
Yes.
They could have backed into a playoff spot because Rochester lost, but why not go in style and beat the Marlies in regulation as well?
Especially, Ross, because now if we're looking at the AHL standings, it looks like the play-in series will be the Belleville Senators with home ice advantage versus the Toronto Marlies. So it's great to finish off the regular. Well, they got one more game up against the Marlies, so another kind of tee up to that. And hopefully, if they win that, then they can get the bye instead of the play-in round. But it was a 4-3 victory for the boys. And yeah, you mentioned it. Kastelic, he got a goal. How about, I'm just pulling up the game sheet here. How about Logan Shaw, the captain?
Yep.
Captainship with 2 goals in this one. And Philip Gustafsson, this is what we needed from him. He needed to be put in a position where it's like, all right, this is a meaningful game. A lot on the line here. We can clinch our first ever playoff berth, and you're the guy we're putting in net here. And he doesn't disappoint. 32 saves on 35 shots. And it's just great, Ross. It's been a long time coming for the Belleville Senators to have a chance to play playoff hockey, and it's finally here. Look at that X beside the Belleville Senators. That's beautiful.
Oh, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good? However, there's still room to improve. Like if Laval, maybe not. They've got 3 games left. What do you think? You think they finish in 4?
The nice thing about points percentage, Ross, is 3 games in hand isn't necessarily a good thing.
A loss drops it.
Exactly. Or how about 3 losses, Ross? How does that sound?
Oh, so that sounds phenomenal.
That's definitely a possibility here, although Laval's been real hot lately, so I'm not going to go ahead and guarantee anything. But Belleville's in. They're in now. So whether they have to do the play-in series or they get the bye, and I'm confident in this team. And as long as Ottawa doesn't, I guess playoffs wouldn't start till after the season, so Ottawa wouldn't need to pluck any players from this roster.
Although there will be some recalls for the next game.
Yes, yeah.
Scott Sabrin and Mark Kastelic will be recalled for tomorrow night. Okay, which is good because Cassie's got the helmet. He's got to be the one giving it away if they can beat New Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder who he gave the helmet to in Belleville. He should have passed that tradition on there. But yeah, that's fine. And those boys deserve a couple extra days of an NHL paycheck, so I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, 100%. So we've got some injury updates. Colin White, Connor Brown will not play again this season.
So I was really hoping Whitey would be back. Damn.
Yeah, so that's really unfortunate there. I don't even know if it's worth pulling up the lines I did today because we were all excited. Shane Pinto, regular jersey. DJ Smith says he was just filling in, will not play this season.
I mean, you know what? We'll take a look at the silver lining. At least he's healthy now, and he's going to be 1,000% for training camp. So let's just do that. And Ross, that Montreal game, that was the end of the season for the Sens, right? Like the rest of these games, they don't mean much. And it's hilarious to say the most meaningful game was between the 26th and 31st place teams. But let's be honest, there's not a whole lot of meat there for the rest of these games. So it's okay if they're not at full strength here.
Yeah, and running out of time for Jake Sanderson as well, if not already. So it's unfortunate. There's so many good players, like guys you want to see in the lineup injured right now. You could almost make a team that I'd pay as much to see out of the injured guys that you would. Maybe not as much now that Shabbat's back, but I guess that is another silver lining is that Shabbat is back, will play. DJ said he wouldn't let any other player enter the lineup in that situation, no practice or anything. But when Thomas Shabbat says he's ready to play, he's ready to play. And they were out on a trip for the last week, so what's he going to do? Just go all the way out to Seattle? And they didn't even practice it back-to-back. So the schedule just
didn't make sense.
Up. Yeah. It wasn't set up for them. He would have just gone to that one practice in Columbus. That's it. It doesn't make sense to do that, but it was great to see him in the lineup. Sens get the victory. Can't believe there's only 3 games left in this regular season. It is sad, but you know what? Regroup, retool, and get going. The Senators have 5 wins in their last 7 games, Pilsy. 5-1-1 in their last 7.
The Senators, they are such consistent teams in starting off the year absolute garbage,
Yep.
like just a dumpster fire, let's be honest, and then finishing off the year on a complete hot streak, regardless of who's in the lineup. Like last year to finish the season, Thomas Chabot wasn't in the lineup either. So
Right.
it's just hilarious how they end up doing this. Although their lottery odds will be better this year than last year, so that's at least nice.
Yes. By how much?
Unless they go, they could go on a tear and pass Detroit and Buffalo, though. So maybe not, because then that would put them back at the same spot, I believe, if my math is correct, which usually is not.
Don't look now, though. Buffalo's got 4 wins in a row.
Yeah, I mean, put a number 1 first overall pick into your lineup, and that'll help things out a little bit, eh?
Yeah, well, Chicago's lost 7 of their last 10 games, so they've really dropped off. There's
that
more
only
of a
helps
gap.
Columbus.
Right, but there's more of a gap in terms of the lottery odd standings.
Yes, yeah.
There's more of a gap now between Ottawa and 6th versus Ottawa and 8th when you're looking 1 being the best chance at the first overall pick. And what a race to the finish between Montreal and Arizona. Don't let Habs fans convince you that they wanted to lose that game for draft lottery odds. That's such a joke. I turned to the guy behind me. I said, wait, so you paid to come watch your team lose? All right. Thanks for the cash.
And speaking of the Habs losing, Ross, I saw on Twitter that this is the Habs' longest losing streak since 1940. So,
no way.
Talk about man. Life comes at you real fast, eh? When you think your team is so good, they go to the Stanley Cup Finals, and you have all these expectations. You go out, you sign a lot of guys in free agency, you spend a lot of money extending guys, and then you end up in second last place. I mean,
as long as you're outworking the captain on the other team when you're down 5-2. Yeah, that's awesome. Real smart. They've lost 9 in a row. Arizona's lost 10 in a row. And both garbage squads are tied with 51 points. No team in the NHL has less than 58. And you want to talk about how much change can happen in a year? Pilsy, they were in the Stanley Cup Finals 10 months ago, not even a year.
Yep.
Maybe even less. Jeez, wow, how the tables can turn quickly on a fan base that is so deserving of this. So great to see the Sens fans take back the CTC, and it was just good vibes all night, all weekend. The vibes have been immaculate, and Pilsy, they continue tonight. We will be at the 67's first home game of this season. We'll have Boosh on the ground with Williams Martian. Looking forward to being at the Civic Center. Haven't been there in forever, so that's going to be a phenomenal experience. It's an awesome place to watch hockey. And speaking of the Sens beating the Habs, first win in franchise history was Ottawa over Montreal at the Civic Center. Their 1,001st victory was in Montreal, because we haven't done a show since, we did the postcast Friday, but that was the 1,000th win in Senators franchise history. Or was it the Vancouver one? No, it was Vancouver. So the 1,002nd. They're winning so many games, I can't keep up anymore, Pills.
I know. Yeah, it's, as I said after the game, it is exhausting cheering for a team this good.
Hey, if you've been betting on them, you're making a ton of money. And we did pretty well on Saturday night. Shout out betonline.net. Hey, this is the best time of year to be following the Ottawa Senators. 5-1-1 in their last 7. Just throw a little shekel on them on the money line. Why not? And at betonline.net, they've got all the latest odds, totals, player performance props. You can even bet on things like where the next fired coach is going to land. BetOnline.net is the #1 spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best as well for your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts. All right, Pilsy, so we are relishing a friggin' huge victory against the lowly Montreal Canadiens, the team that had Stanley Cup aspirations. They brought in a overpaid defenseman in David Savard. They brought in Mike Hoffman. They thought Mike Hoffman was going to solve their problems. Oh my God. What is this, 2017? My goodness. Cole Caulfield scores a goal to make it 5-2. I turned to the guy behind me, Pilsy. I said, you ever know that feeling when you hit a real nice shot on the driving range? Yeah, it feels good for a second. It means absolutely nothing. You're still going to shank it into the forest on your first hole. So, you know what? Let them have that. Nice little 2-on-1. Habs fans got a je ne sais quoi when they made it 5-3 when Joel Edmondson stepped into a slap shot in the slot. They made it 5-3, Pillsy. It was 5-1. They made it 5-3 for 40 seconds. And then on the power play, so they make it 5-3 and then they get a power play. So you're like, oh shit. All right. Like, let's lean forward a little bit. Let's lean forward. No Ole chance just yet. And then Mike Hoffman just gives it up and get this now. Alex Formenton, 18 tucks on the season. That is one of the storylines. And maybe we'll do that on tomorrow's show because that will be game day with three games left. What are some milestones that are within reach? And for me, Formenton hitting 20 goals would just be so sick for him.
And Ross, talk about milestones. He is now tied with the lead in shorthanded goals in the entire league with 5 shorthanded goals with, I think it's Trevor Moore with the LA Kings. So,
and he's going to get more opportunity. It's too bad he doesn't have his running mate, Connor Brown, for these last 3 games. They're electric together. But we talk about how he gets a million breakaways. Well, he needs to rewind that one, watch it back a few times because that's the type of move that's going to make him successful. It was that McDavid move where he's so fast that when he cuts towards his forehand or his backhand, you have to respect it. And then he just kind of like brings it back and puts it the way he came from. And all the goalies' momentum's going the wrong way. Carey Price had no chance on that one. So I loved it. And Formie had a good break earlier on in the game where he drew a penalty there, and then Timmy drew a penalty on a sick break. The Sens transition game was just so much better than Montreal's throughout that night. So, oh man, what a sick experience. And write us in the comments what your favorite part is of last night and what milestones you hope to see. I don't know if I mentioned the number. Formenton, 18 goals on the season, 2 less than super rookie Cole Caulfield. And believe it or not, they're a year and a half apart. So I don't know. Maybe we should be pumping tires, building statues of Alex Formenton if he hits 20 goals because it seems like that's what they're doing in Montreal. Oh, did I mention Josh Norris? 34 goals on the season? You kidding me right now? That was probably the prettiest goal of the bunch for Ottawa on Saturday. Eh? It was similar to the goal against Columbus, a little tic-tac-toe. Those guys are feeling it.
Are you being sarcastic? It went off his foot.
Yeah, but the passing play, the play that like set it up.
Okay, I wouldn't put that as the top one. Parker Kelly's and Kastelic and Formenton's goal were all pretty sick.
Formie's was sick. I'm just getting fired up.
A goal off the skate probably doesn't do it for me.
You know what it reminds you of though?
Tierney?
No, the Zibanejad goal in Game 4 against Montreal, where Habs fans were quick to like put a soccer ball. They said he kicked it in, but it kind of reminded me of that little, how did he do? So just put salt in the wound there from 2013.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and.
All right, so it was the 6th nicest goal the Sens scored.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, anytime you get 6 goals, they're probably all worth mentioning here.
100%. All right, we got to get to tonight's game. What are you hoping to see with Tyler Boucher? Like he got a goal and an assist in the last game, so hopefully the offense keeps going tonight.
First thing I'm hoping to see, Ross, is no more soft reffing, because the soft reffing and putting the 67s on the penalty kill for half the game in game 1, the one I watched, it just deflated any opportunities and momentum Tyler Boucher had. Although when he was on the ice, he was out there. He was making hits. He was getting shots on net. He was bringing the puck into the zone like Tyler Boucher does. But mostly, I'm hoping that we can see we missed that game up against North Bay for game 2, which was a wild one, 7-6. And I believe North Bay capped it off in the kind of the final minutes of play there. So if we can get a barn burner of a game like that at home, I'm thinking it'll shift in the 67s game. Definitely me, you, and Martian will be hooting and hollering and getting the boys going. So that'll help them out. But I want to see Boucher get physical. I want to see him get offensive touches. Like, it's going to be great to finally see him in person, and I'm going to enjoy the atmosphere of being at my first 67s game, a playoff game, nonetheless.
Oh, there's just nothing better than playoff hockey, right?
No, there really isn't, and it's been years since I've been to a playoff hockey game. I've never seen an NHL playoff hockey game, Ross, if you can believe that live. No way. I mean, AHL either. I've only seen OHL playoff games in Guelph, so it'll be nice to get back into this.
I'm trying to remember the last playoff game I would have been at.
You didn't go at any in 2017,
no,
did you?
No, I didn't. No, we were in Toronto. We were still at school, so I couldn't sneak down. Was that? I don't even think I made it home in 2015. I was at the only game.
2013 was your last.
Yeah. Wow. And it was I think it was the game where James Neal had 17 points.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, Thomas Vokoun. I can't believe he beat us that series. That's a story for another day. Probably not. But hey, let's finish off on a solid note then, because we do have an award nominee. I mentioned it earlier, Anton Forsberg, the Senators nominee for the Bill Masterton Award. And there are 32 nominees. So there is a one from each team.
Yep.
Here's the write-up, and then I'll get your thoughts on Forsberg's season. This is from the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Over the past 12 months, Forsberg has been the epitome of resilience and dedication. The netminder was placed on waivers by 3 different clubs last season, Edmonton, Carolina, and Winnipeg. With his NHL future in precarious footing, he landed in Ottawa in March of 2021 and has since firmly established himself as a consistent and dependable presence in the crease for Ottawa. For his efforts, he recently signed a 3-year extension with the Senators, a testament to his ability to overcome a period of uncertainty to establish himself as a full-time NHL goaltender.
Yeah, I would say that's bang on. And just like, we're so happy for the guy. Like, this is a guy that's, he's got a wife and young kids. So imagine being told during the COVID at its peak, okay, you're going here. You don't even get a game in. Okay, you're going here. Now you're going here. And the wife and kids are just like, holy crap, like it's difficult here. So he really kind of pulled his socks up and said, hey, I'm going to work hard. I feel like I have an opportunity here in Ottawa. And talk about perseverance. Like, this guy has had some of the worst decors in front of him multiple games in a row, and he gets 40 plus shots, and he says that's not a problem at all, and he keeps his team with the opportunity to win every game that he's in. So now looking at that contract, Ross, that seems like an absolute steal of a contract, especially if he continues this play, and it's looking like he's probably going to be the number 1 goalie for the Sens next season. So to have a number 1 goalie putting up the numbers he's putting up, getting under $3 million locked up for 3 more years, that's pretty sweet.
Yes, it is very sweet. Now, there are a few that stand out above others. Before I tell you the guaranteed winner, I'm putting a levy lock on the Bill Masterton Award. But it was great to see 2 Sens abroad, both nominated as well. Anthony Duclair is the nominee for the Florida Panthers. He is a first-time 30-goal scorer. He's also one of the founding members of the Hockey Diversity Alliance, which has been great, where they're eradicating racism from the game, which is a very important topic. And then we've got Mark Borowiecki, who has been the nominee for the Nashville Predators. Of course, he's very active in the discussion around mental health. So it's fantastic to see him being recognized. Pilsy, this is Carey Price's award, though, this year.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed?
100%. Guaranteed. Not only hip surgery. Like, a lot of these guys are nominated for battling through injury. Like, Jack Eichel's Vegas' nominee. What you like? Not. It's supposed to be like a sportsmanship award, and he literally demanded a trade and was like, "Get me out of here."
Whoa! That's different, though. He demanded a trade because he was being told what he can and can't do with his body in a life-altering surgery. So I think he deserves stick taps for standing up for himself and being like, "No, I'm not doing the surgery you guys want.
Fair.
I've done my research. This is how I want to treat my body because." When I'm done my playing career, the Buffalo Sabres aren't going to be there when I'm trying to get out of bed in the morning. So I accept that one.
Vancouver's is Luke Shen, and the write-up says he spent a lot of his season beside Quinn Hughes and hasn't looked out of place. A strong statement of how hard he's worked.
Huh?
Yeah, because he hasn't looked out of place. He still has a hard edge, but his defensive positioning and his first pass make a player who at 32 remains essential.
Okay.
I mean, you have to pick someone.
Yeah, he did really good with our best ever defenseman. Congrats.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to take anything away from him, but that's a funny write-up.
Exactly. You see a few of these, and other guys who are very well deserving. Ryan Getzlaf, who's in his final season, he's playing hard and physical all through his life. And Andrew Ladd reached 1,000 games after what everyone thought his career was over. So. No, it's great to see all these, and it's a very prestigious award, one that Craig Anderson took home in 2017. And you just understand the off-ice problems and all the things that he goes through just as a regular person. So to persevere through that is fantastic and great to see. Pilsy, did we miss anything today? I know we got all excited about Saturday's win, and obviously the Senators now have a chance tomorrow. Again, how many times we said this? They have the opportunity tomorrow to win 4 games in a row for the first time since 2017.
Yeah, that would be nice. And hey, they're up against the New Jersey Devils, so there's an opportunity to be had there. So
we talk about injury, no Jack Hughes.
Ooh, that's a big one missing for the Devils. Did we miss anything? The Sens kicking the crap out of the Montreal
Beat down.
Canadiens at home. Check.
Puck line, Levy lock, easy money.
Let's go. Belleville clinching their first ever playoff franchise berth. We got that one. 67's game tonight. Boucher.
Whoa.
Boucher on the
sound
ground.
effects now.
Yeah, you're just the DJ now. We talked about the Masterton. I think we got it all here. Just if this is kind of my closing statement, I just want to reiterate once again, like, everyone showing up for the meet and greet. Like we got to Stanley's and the server asked us, "Oh, so how many people are going to be here?" And we said, "Well, it could be just the three of us, or it could be like 100 people. Like we don't know. We really don't know what's going to happen." And it was an absolute turnout. If you haven't seen it already, check out the pictures on Twitter at Sens Central, because it was an absolute massive crew. There was one Habs fan there who somehow got front and center in the picture, but we got the last laugh in that one, so we'll just let that one slide. But it was so awesome to see everyone, and all the listeners have been so gracious towards us. I mean, shout out Keegan. He gave us a ride home after the bar, so we didn't have to get an Uber.
Unreal.
We had lunch with Cole the next day, our country music star from out west, and he's got some big things coming up, so keep an eye on him, and maybe we'll see some collaborations between us and Cole in the future. And it's just it's so humbling to know all you guys are this deep into the podcast. And just walking around the arena, Ross, we had people yelling "Locked On Senators," and that was a blast. So we love coming home. We love coming to the CTC with all you guys, and make sure to keep your ears and eyes open, because probably the next time we're going to do something like this, Ross, is the home opener next year, because that's going to be an absolute blast. So we'll do a meet and greet. We'll try to get another section group discount link, and if it was anything like it was this time, it's going to be a blast, and you're not going to want to miss it. Like, don't miss out on this, because how often do you get to get together with Sens fans and celebrate like this? We've had a couple lean years here, so it's not that often. So take advantage while you can.
Two more, and I want to pull up the photos. One, thanking everyone at Stanley's there. That's a great photo.
Look at that.
Getting everyone in the mix. That's great. And you can see Kevin rocking the Sens Central Citizen shirt. Obviously, he's been our most recent Sens Central Citizen, so it's very fitting that he's the one rocking it in the photo as well. And we also have to give a shout out to Daryl Quinlan, because he's an awesome doodler, as he calls it, but he put out an awesome tweet day of the game. Like, look at that. That's unreal. So beauty. Shout out Daryl. We got to meet him at the game as well. And
he had a sick retro jacket. Oh, man. Yes. The leather retro Ottawa jacket. That was awesome.
Oh, so awesome. And Daryl, you nailed the foreshadowing on this one, because I dropped my beer early in the game during the anthem. But thank God for lids. Didn't spill any of it. I was shocked. I looked at you. I was like, wow. Thank God for lids.
Stuart Savern couldn't say the same thing. The first goal happened, and he knocked his fresh beer fully over. So shout out Stewie on that one.
Oh, yeah. Great to have him with us, and great to have everyone with us on this journey with Locked On Senators, as well as boots on the ground. Hopefully we'll see you tonight at the Civic Center, if not tomorrow at the CTC. But for today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.